Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Sarakunda. This is Star TV News with me, Maimuna Fadera. In the headlines tonight, watermelon sellers highlight challenges they encounter this season. Minister Cole visits Region 3 and 6 schools. National Olympic Committee set light on their activities on the international scene. Sudan struggles to shelter influx of Ethiopian refugees. Trump agrees transition to Biden administration can begin. Biden announces first cabinet post of administration. Well, those were the headlines. And now the news in details. Watermelon traders on Monday highlight on some of the challenges they face while clarifying the reason for the cost of watermelons and call on the government to intervene. Our Sani has the rest of the story.
Watermelon is one of the most important fruits grown in the tropical regions. It is highly nutritious for human consumption and provides several nutrients that prevent cancer and other diseases. Jambailo Jallo indicated that the cost of watermelons depends on the size of watermelon the person wants, while highlighting on the challenges they encounter relating to the cost of uploading the watermelons on the truck and sleeping on the street for the safety of their products. Jallo told this medium that people are not buying watermelon compared to the previous years, saying that there are too many watermelons in the country, which result to more routine watermelons, and call on the government to set up factories so that businesses or individuals can buy a lot from these local sellers or farmers and process or add value by turning it into jams, juice, or even skin products. Another seller says that they even have a problem with KMC regarding the location of their businesses. Meanwhile, the watermelon trade is efficient and provides a net marketing profit due to the fact that the transaction cost incurred by wholesalers is insignificant. The average marketing efficiency was estimated at 65%. Retailers are the most efficient service with an efficiency rate of 70%, while the wholesalers have 50% efficiency rate. Nevertheless, the wholesalers earn significant monthly revenue. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Awasani.
The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Claudia Cole, recently visited a number of schools in Region 3 and 6 to get a first-hand knowledge on the implementation of COVID-19 precautionary measures. Well, Dada Cham tells us more.
The minister visited 8 schools in the said regions, namely Farafenni Lower and Senior Secondary Schools, Wintantin and Chala Lower Basic Schools, Direct 8 Basic Cycle School, all in Region 3. St. George's and Seafield Lower Basic Schools in Region 6 respectively. Minister Cole's visit came while on recent tour with President Barrow. According to Minister Cole, at the schools she visited, she found someone stationed at the school gates checking the temperature of teachers and students and visitors before entering the school, which she described as a right move in a right direction. During her visit, Minister Cole observed the adherence to the WHO regulations and Ministry of Health guidelines regarding classroom organizations, sitting arrangement of students in class, availabilities of usage of face masks, teachers and students' attendance, especially of girls, teachers' preparation in teaching and learning in the classrooms, and community participation. She used the chance to commend the school administrators, SMCs, and their teachers for their efforts in making sure that those within the school environment are safe from getting the coronavirus pandemic. Continue adhering to health guidelines, respect physical distancing in schools, and wash your hands regularly as directed by the health personnel. Minister Cole gave a strong advice to school authorities. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Dado Chan.
The Gambia National Olympic Committee today in a press briefing shed light on issues surrounding their activities, which include their annual activity grant. The story by Fatoumata Bayo is narrated by Maria Madam.
The role of the National Public Committee is to develop, promote and protect the Olympic movement in the Gambia in accordance with the Olympic Charter. Their roles include promoting the fundamental principles and values of Olympian in the country, in particular in the fields of sports, education and culture. The committee also helps in the training of sports administrators by organizing courses and ensuring that such courses contribute to the propagation of the fundamental principles of Olympism. The Olympic Solidarity usually supports National Olympic Committee with an annual activity grant under strict guidelines. The National Olympic Committee can use 75% of the funds for national associates and 25% for administration purposes. However, this year, the National Olympic Committee did not receive these funds as a result of the decision to support the National Olympic Committee with special support grant through continental associations. The amount of $11,650,000 was allocated continental, with each of National Olympic Committee to receive $47,000 in 2 installments. The Gambia National Olympic Committee will continue to focus to support the National Association who are still in the hunt for Olympic qualification. Their executive would like to add to the successes registered at the Youth African Games and the World Athletics Championship. They would like to provide all opportunities and support for qualifiers to their male athletes in Dakar. Our male and female beach volleyball teams, our judoka who have been doing very well in gaining qualification points, and other swimmers has gained wildcard qualification, and we will continue to support their participation in preparation for the Tokyo Games, says Abdoulaye Diallo, the Secretary General of the committee. He finally alluded to the Olympic Solidarity provides the resources for their activities. However, the Gambia National Olympic Committee will continue to abide strictly with the Olympic Solidarity guidelines. They are therefore happy to report that PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the big 4 accounting firms, have successfully completed an audit of their accounts Olympic Solidarity from 2017 to 2020. It is gratifying to note that there were no adverse findings in their accounts as in the draft report submitted by company. The Gambia National Olympic Committee will continue to adhere to the principles of the Olympic movement and adhere to the guidelines of the Olympic Solidarity in the utilization of their resources. Maria Madam, reporting for Star TV News.
We will be back with the international news after the short commercial break. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jeja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jeja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.goshglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
Welcome back. After the short commercial break, we now look at the news beyond our borders. Sudanese authorities have opened 2 camps to cope with the influx of Ethiopian refugees who have started arriving in Sudan for 2 weeks. Nearly 40,000 refugees have fled to Sudan altogether following a government offensive on the Tigray People's Liberation Front. For some of them, they have experienced life in these camps before. The United Nations says it expects 200,000 Ethiopian refugees to arrive in Sudan in the coming months amid fighting in Tigray. Along with lack of humanitarian access continues, Sudan's authorities says the camp has limited capacity and more camps are needed. Well, Al Jazeera's Heba Morgan reports from Kadirif State, Sudan.
Kuba refugee camp in Sudan's Gadarif state is new to many refugees, but not Dirhas Tesfai. Her parents fled to the camp in 1985 to escape war and famine back in their home country Ethiopia. She's back to the same old camp, this time with her 10-day-old child who she gave birth to while fleeing conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region.
I went to Humera to give birth to my child, but then the fighting started and we had to flee. I gave birth to my child while I was running away to come here. He was born on the road. Now I'm back to the camp where I was born as a refugee, and my newborn is at the same camp, also a refugee.
Kuba was closed in the year 2000, following the return of most of the refugees who once lived in the camp back to Ethiopia. But 20 years later, the camp is open again to cope with an influx of Ethiopian refugees who started arriving to Sudan 2 weeks ago. All here have escaped from various parts of Tigray. Nearly 40,000 refugees have fled to Sudan altogether, following a government offensive on the Tigray People's Liberation Front. The offensive was a response to an attack by the front on a military base, which came after months of tension between the regional government and the federal government. Tegle Nagash had hoped not to come back to the camp when he left here 2 years before it was closed, but he says the fighting has left him with no option.
They're killing us in Tigray. There were people being killed, our own children. Bombs were being dropped on buildings. It's sad that many of us are displaced again, but we want to live. We don't want to die in war.
More than 6,000 refugees now live in the camp. It opened less than 2 weeks ago. Even though receiving refugees isn't new for the Kuba camp, the number of those arriving here has been increasing so fast that many of them are still without shelter. Access to basic services such as clean water, food, and healthcare is also challenging. Yet for many, this place is once again providing them with the refuge they need. The United Nations says it expects 200,000 Ethiopian refugees to arrive to Sudan in the coming months if fighting in Tigray, along with lack of humanitarian access, continues. Sudanese authorities say the camp has a limited capacity and more camps need to be established.
We're urging donors and international organizations to help us cope with the situation because it's very dire. Some organizations have provided aid, but there's too many people for the state and for a few organizations. They need services and they need care, which we can't provide alone. Sudan already has its economic problems, so we need the international community to help us with this crisis.
Dirhas says she'd hoped her children would never live the life she'd lived, but with 3 generations of refugees in her family, she wonders when the search for a permanent refuge and stability will end. Heba Morgan, Al Jazeera, Gadarif State.
President-elect Joe Biden has released an array of nominees to head foreign policy and national security agencies under his incoming administration. The nominees on Monday included Antony Blinken for Secretary of State, Linda Thomas Greenfield for U.S. Ambassador to the United States, and former Secretary of State John Kerry to be the Special Presidential Envoy for Climate Change. The challenges facing the incoming team are many, but so are the opportunities. Al Jazeera's Rosalind Jordan reports.
Ahead of Tuesday's announcement of his cabinet members, President-elect Joe Biden spoke briefly to reporters.
Why do you go with national security first?
Because it's national security.
Thanks.
Biden's team of diplomats and military leaders is familiar to Washington insiders and foreign leaders alike. Former Deputy Secretary of State Tony Blinken, nominated to be the U.S.'s top diplomat. Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, chosen to represent the U.S. at the United Nations. And former Secretary of State John Kerry, back in government once more, this time as Biden's point person on climate change. Beneath a photo of his granddaughter watching him sign the Paris Climate Accords in 2015, Kerry told his Twitter followers, "The climate crisis demands nothing less than all hands on deck." Foreign policy experts say it will take the U.S. years to repair the damage caused by the current president, Donald Trump, whose America First foreign policy shredded relations with the European Union, the UN, and NATO.
And it's an honor to be with you.
Trump's affection for strongmen leaders, such as Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un, horrified both his political opponents and the U.S.'s allies. From a refusal to grant asylum seekers safe haven, to deciding to abandon both the Paris Climate Agreement and the Iran nuclear deal, experts say Trump's foreign policy ultimately undermined the U.S.'s reputation overseas.
I think repairing and renewing America at home is critical if we're going to be a model, a soft power influence. Countries want to work with us.
The biggest challenge facing the new White House, getting too comfortable.
The only slight concern is that this team may convince itself that they've got the right answer because they all sort of look at the world the same way. They've all been through a lot of the same experiences. And they're going to ask, how do we bring in fresh ideas?
Some recommendations: finding ways to restart denuclearization talks with Pyongyang, updating and improving the nuclear deal with Tehran, and keeping the Afghan peace talks on track, no matter how long it takes. What may be most important, say foreign policy experts, reassuring the U.S.'s allies that it is reliable, and then proving it from day one. Rosalind Jordan, Alger.
Well, before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. Watermelon sellers highlight challenges they encounter this season. Minister Cole visits Region 3 and 6 schools. National Olympic Committee set light on their activities on the international scene. Sudan struggles to shelter influx of Ethiopian refugees. Trump agrees transition to Biden administration can begin. Biden announces first cabinet post of administration. That's all for this edition of the news. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.